Welcome back to another episode of Buddies, Booze, and Banter, Unfiltered Conversations. I am Rick.
And I'm Michael.
We also have with us, of course, our producer, Alex.
Hello, everyone, again.
Well, don't we have a lot to talk about today? I mean, let's talk, first and foremost, now that we actually have the team set up specifically for the Super Bowl. I know that, you have some opinions on your team that didn't make it, but, let's really talk about the big elephant, and that's the whole issue specifically around Travis and now Taylor Swift.
Oh, wow.
It is like ridiculous.
And we've got 2 weeks of this.
Well, that's the whole thing about it. Is I think that, the conservatives are really thinking this is something that we're leading up, particularly on a conspiracy about, that it was actually all, put into play that Kansas City would win, and they have every plan of winning the Super Bowl because the NFL wants them to.
And it has nothing to do with them being a good team.
Absolutely not. It's all about, Taylor Swift and, how she's the psyop and she's a plant by the Biden administration and things of that sort. One of the latest conspiracies, they're like, they're a power couple that's going to announce that they're actually supporting President Biden for the 2024 election.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, she obviously, she supported Biden in 2020, but they're afraid of that because literally, if you look at 1/5 of her followers, the Swifties, if she tells them what to do, they'll do it. That's what they're scared of right now.
Of course.
The conservatives are literally having their heads blown off in regards to that. So I just think it's extremely funny. And obviously, I know I talked about it a lot last week.
You did.
Specifically when the conservatives are hitting her and, whether Jesse Waters or Megyn Kelly, which we can talk about her another day. But the interesting thing about it is it continues. And I just don't understand what seems to be the issue with, first of all, they're saying that she needs to stay out of politics. But
then
they're
the
okay.
Politicians to stay out of politics.
Well, yeah, but they're saying somebody who is potentially a liberal, which she has never really been that involved in politics, with the exception of trying to get people to vote, signing them up to vote. And that's the other thing they're actually pointing out, that she actually did one Instagram post that results in 35,000 individuals signing up to vote. That's what they're scared about because the young generation that the GOP is having an extreme difficult time in actually gaining support are her followers, are their Swifties.
Because they can't control the narrative. They're trying to control everything. The Republicans are.
Well, they can't control that because, she's a strong, independent woman, I think. But I also think it's just kind of ridiculous and ironic that, she's being too exuberant because they won the championship. And, she's hugging them on the field, too much PDA.
You should go into any bar that was in Kansas City or San Francisco, and you would have everybody jumping up and down, screaming, kissing, hugging, and all that stuff when their team won.
I'd be kind of curious, all those individuals who were in Kansas City who actually were knocking her previously, saying that she was actually, hurting his performance and she was bad luck, and now all of a sudden they're winning and they're on their way to the Super Bowl. You think they're still saying the same thing?
Well, but knocking it, Kansas City's been in the AFC championship for 6 or 7 years in a row. They were always good. They've always been good. And that has a lot to do with Mahomes being their quarterback, who went to Texas Tech, where I went to college.
Well, it's obviously that they're afraid the deep state, whatever that is apparently rigging the NFL. And obviously they think it's for politics, and obviously the NFL is doing it for money. It's $1 billion thing. Because I do want to kind of talk a little bit of serious things specifically about the Super Bowl. And first of all, what the lineup is specifically for the anthem and the halftime and all that?
Reba McEntire singing the national anthem. And is it Usher doing the halftime?
Well, they do 3 songs at the opening. You have the national anthem, you have America the Beautiful,
okay,
which actually Post Malone, which I think is going to be pretty badass.
Okay.
And then, of course, they have the Black National Anthem, which is going to piss the conservatives off again.
Totally.
And this guy, I guess, is Lift Every Voice. And Andrea, I think, who's actually doing this, Andrea Day, who's actually doing that singing.
Okay.
So it's going to be, and which she's a hell of a performer, so it's going to be, pretty dynamic, but it's going to piss them off, which is kind of good. And then, of course, halftime performances by Usher. Is Usher still relevant?
Not really.
Or are they just getting down to the bottom of the barrel? I thought he had literally like these controversies around him that there was no reason for him to be out there, the Super Bowl. This is $1 billion day.
Totally. And commercials alone and all that stuff is, but Usher, I could
You know, the interesting thing about it is they actually had asked Taylor Swift a couple of times to do this, the halftime Super Bowl performance, and she's turned them down. But yet, she'll be there.
She will be.
Yeah, she's actually flying back on that day from Japan. I guess she has a concert there, and she's flying back straight to Vegas.
And she will get more screen time than probably the halftime show because they'll be showing her all the time during the game.
Yeah, I think that's going to create a lot of. I think the NFL is going to like that just simply because you're going to have seen more individuals focus in on the game because of the controversies.
Of course, because it's all about the ratings.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't go to the Super Bowl. I can't afford the Super Bowl. You know what the average ticket is right now?
A lot. I have no idea.
Yeah, it ranges from $10,250 up to $52,380, and that's before fees and taxes. I mean, who the hell are going to these games?
People that've got lots of money.
Yeah, or they're going in debt.
I'm going to
Now-
the watch parties.
Yeah, well, you may actually, based upon what you were saying, you may end up spending that much too.
Yeah, but you don't even know about the jacket I bought. So I bought this jacket. Think Letterman jacket.
Yeah.
It's the most outlandish Letterman style jacket.
Is that the one that Taylor Swift was wearing, and now it's actually a big item to sell? I mean, it literally is a letter. I mean,
It's literally a Letterman jacket. On the sleeves, it has all the Super Bowl logos from the previous Super Bowls, and it's purple. It's the colors of and then on the back of it, it's got the giant Super Bowl logo on it.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think
Is
it's
that
cool.
an attempt to get people to think that you actually went to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, that's probably the play out. Yeah, that's probably the play output. I have a jersey, I have the jacket, and then I've got a polo also.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, I have been to 2 Super Bowls.
That he has.
I was at Super Bowl 27 when the Dallas Cowboys beat the Buffalo Bills.
And
then
where was that played again?
Pasadena, Rose Bowl.
Yeah, because you got a spur of the moment thing, wasn't it?
Well, I got tickets for the moment. I was
Yeah.
going because growing up, Dallas Cowboys were always going to the Super Bowl, and I was a little kid, couldn't go. And then back in the 80s, I was going to go to a Super Bowl with the Cowboys, and then the Cowboys lost in the NFC Championship, so I didn't go. Little did you know it was going to be 17 years before the next Super Bowl. At this time, I was living in Minneapolis when they were playing San Francisco in the NFC Championship game. I just had a feeling the Cowboys were going to go. Asked all my friends if they wanted to go to the Super Bowl. And
Just remember, we've only got a short amount of time.
okay,
in this.
2 people decided they wanted to go. The Cowboys won, booked. We were trying to get tickets. 3 days before I'm supposed to get on a plane, the CEO of my company hands me 3 tickets. I ask him, I'm all excited. Says, how much? He says, they're free.
That's amazing.
The hotel that we got screwed up our reservations. They gave us a suite for the same price as a regular room, and the Cowboys ended up winning that. It was an unbelievable time. Michael Jackson sang at halftime on that.
Well,
one.
that first of all tells you how old he is.
And then so that was that one. And then 3 years later, I was in Phoenix. And by chance, the Cowboys made there. And that time, we scalped tickets. At that time, scalping tickets was like $650.
Not anymore.
I mean, face value at that time, I think was
Well, there's a whole
$500.
process they have now that you can't really scalp the Super Bowl tickets. I mean,
I did-
yeah, it's a whole process they have.
Yeah, but you can, I mean, online and all that stuff, you can still sell them and everything.
Well, yeah,
else
they're
is.
upwards to $100,000.
Yeah.
But who the hell's going to spend that money?
People that I guess desperately want to go. And then Super Bowl 30, I was there, and the Cowboys beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Diana Ross sang at halftime for that one.
That's probably pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, I've only seen her once in concert, and it's pretty phenomenal. Here in Dallas, actually.
I've seen her a few times.
Yeah.
So who do you have to win this Super Bowl?
I want Kansas City.
Kansas City. Yeah, I want Kansas City.
Well,
to
if
win.
you actually talk to conservatives, they're actually saying that there's a push right now for the next 2 weeks to support the 49ers so that the popularity of Taylor and Travis doesn't make them actually more powerful. I mean, they really actually,
I think
they're
I'm
on
betting
television
the
saying
conspiracy
this.
theory. I'm going to bet on the conspiracy theory. I'm going to bet on they either want Taylor Swift to win to drive up sales, or they want her to lose to drive up sales.
Well, what they're saying is that, you know, either they're going to make the announcement beginning of the game or, you know, obviously halftime just before the entertainment, either that they're supporting President Biden or they're announcing their engagement. I mean, come on. I mean, it just get in your own lives. I mean, it's just so funny to watch these conservatives on Fox News in particular. I mean, they're just like at the mouth is foaming. It's just incredible to be actually watching them. But I also want to kind of talk about the impact economically, what it happens in the United States. You know how much money is generated or actually spent on Super Bowl day?
A lot.
Got an idea?
It's got to be in the billions.
16.5 billion.
Oh, just look at how much they pay for commercials during the Super Bowl.
No.
Well, I'm just saying.
No. That's not including the commercials or
Well,
all
no,
the
I know, but I'm just
corporations.
saying they pay a lot to do advertise
That's
on
based
there.
upon $85.36 on the average that each American spends on it. I mean, and that doesn't include worldwide the impact that it has too. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy that we spend that much on one day.
Because everybody's at their home or the bars or whatever watching the game.
Or at the Super Bowl, that's for sure. I mean, it goes down to food and beverage and apparel and decorations and furniture. I didn't realize they bought furniture, because they have to set up their backyards or whatever it was. Who the heck is going to spend money to set up more furniture in their backyard
to have a
watch
Super Bowl party?
Yeah, well, it's kind of crazy.
You're not into sports.
I'm into sports. I'm just not into NFL.
Oh.
Now I am into the controversy though, because I kind of like that part. Since I've obviously
Typically you.
Yeah, well, I got to talk about something, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But there's also one other one that I'm really interested for, but it's going to be announced on February 4th, and that's the World Cup. FIFA's World Cup finals in 2026.
I thought that's already been decided.
No. That was rumored. That's been rumored. Obviously, there was on Twitter X. And a couple of other social medias, but it has not been confirmed because the official announcement doesn't happen until February 4th.
Oh, I thought it was already announced that it was going to be in Jerry World.
No, I mean, obviously that's what is rumored to be. That's obviously where they think that the best, I guess everything set up 105,000 people can get into the stadium, and based upon it's close to the airport and all that. So, but apparently the reason that Jerry got it, if he does. Versus the actual number one contender, which is New York or New Jersey, really, was because of the split on revenues. Apparently Jerry's willing to give more than what the New York people were doing. And
of course, he wants the publicity. He's going to make more in publicity.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Keep him at America's team.
Well, I mean,
America's Stadium.
I just find it kind of ironic and kind of crazy that the government officials up in that area didn't step in because, the games are expected to inject in the cities that are actually holding. Because there's how many games are there? I think there's 104 games over the entire final process.
Could be. I don't know.
It generates in the cities that are actually holding them individually $13 to $20 billion. I mean, that's just phenomenal. I mean, but now obviously it comes with a whole baggage worth of controversies and cons to it as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, construction, traffic. I mean, we already have piss poor traffic here in Dallas anyways. So, I mean, I will not even want to be around the entire Arlington place during that entire time unless I get free tickets.
And the World Cup was in the U.S. What was it? Was it 94, 96?
I was just coming out of college then. I don't know. I was a little baby.
My dad got tickets, and they played at the Cotton Bowl at Fair Park, and there was 2 games there. My dad got tickets
at the Fair that stadium.
Yeah,
wow, that stadium's seen a lot of things, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's been around for almost 100 years.
That's amazing. That's absolutely
and they
incredible.
still play the Texas OU game there.
Well, Grambling and a couple other ones has played there as well.
But Texas OU is the one that gets the most publicity.
Gotcha.
But yeah, saw 2 games there. And actually, one of the games, after walking to the car, people had their TV on, and it was the O.J. Simpson Bronco.
That was 93 then.
No, it's not. It was either 94? It was either 94 or 96. I've got a poster around here somewhere, but then it might have been 94 or whatever. But yeah, that was the one of the games we did. It was just that was when O.J. Simpson was doing the Bronco drive. And was on everybody's TV.
Yeah, so obviously they weren't watching the game.
Well, the game was over. We were already walking back to the car.
That's funny. That's interesting.
And people were tailgating and they had their TVs on.
Yeah. Let's kind of jump around here. Did you hear that Jon Stewart's going back to the Daily Show?
I did.
Yeah. I mean, he's only going to do one day a week.
Yes.
But he's doing it specifically to on the 2024 election.
Of course. Yeah. Why would he not?
Well, I mean, he's got a strong voice.
Opinion?
Well, voice. I mean, and he's the one out there really kind of battling for the 9/11 firefighters and the police departments and other individuals who've gotten those post cancers and things of that sort. So, I mean, I think that he's advocating for good things. Now, he obviously does, have a tilt a little bit towards a different side of liberalism versus conservative. But I mean, I think ultimately it's going to be kind of interesting to see exactly what his commentary is going to be.
And a lot of people like him.
Oh, he's awesome. I mean, it was the highest rated one at the time. I mean, they've struggled for so long to get a permanent host.
Right.
And they really do need a permanent host. There's no doubt.
But seeing him come back, and especially this election, this is going to be a bumpy road the whole entire year.
Yeah. Well, that kind of leads me into a politic thing. You know how I am.
Yes.
You've heard about the negotiations that are going on specifically with the immigration bill.
Yes.
Okay, so the interesting thing about it, and apparently it's been going on for months in secret, that you've got a leadership over in the Senate of GOP and the Democrat leadership. They've literally been negotiating an immigration bill. And apparently they're close to getting it. It's apparently the strongest to the point where they actually, if there was and this is only one outtake, and of course, Senator Langston, who's actually out of Oklahoma, who is the lead GOP negotiator, says it's absurd that he would actually say it's this number. But apparently there's a $5,000 threshold, a 5,000 person threshold coming in that they could shut the border down. So apparently this is the strongest one out there.
Yes.
And it gives obviously a significant amount to border patrol individuals. It gives a significant amount to immigration officers, asylum officers, all that in particular. But apparently it's dead on arrival to the House because Donald Trump told them to have it dead on arrival.
Of course.
How do you think that's going to play in the presidential election?
It's not going to play well. The key is if it passes the Senate, there's going to be a lot of pressure in the House.
Yeah, I mean, but I just think right now you look at it, they're trying to impeach Secretary Mayorkas, who's the Homeland Security, whatever it is, secretary, and specifically on the immigration, saying that he has not shut down the border. So here you are, I have a bipartisan Senate group bringing in a bill to shut down the border, and they're not going to approve it. Which also is tied to Ukraine money too.
And that's why it's going to be very bad. Is if it does pass the Senate, you do get it. If you get enough Republicans to pass it in the Senate, it is just going to be terrible for the House Republicans.
Well, how do you think it's going to play at the top level, though?
I
mean, he's the one who's actually the cult. He's the one who's actually advocating that he can use that as a campaign tool. He wants to be the one who shuts down the border.
Right. I totally get it. And it's like, but it's not going to get there. This is going to play out way before then. And it's like the people in middle America are going to see the sham that this is if they keep going it.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, it's just the hypocrisy that we have there is kind of interesting for me. So what's going on in your life, Michael?
Well, as like you said, topics or whatever. We talked about football or whatever in the Super Bowl. One aspect, since we've been talking about that, I want to talk a little bit about the Dallas Cowboys.
Are they really relevant?
They're America's team.
No, they're Dallas's team.
But no, they are America's team, and all that stuff is because you look at it. Out of all the franchises in the world, the Dallas Cowboys are the highest priced franchise in the world.
I mean, the value's there.
You got to give them
doubt.
kudos for that or whatever. But for all my friends that are huge Dallas Cowboy fans, which I am, it's like, guys, the Cowboys are never going to win a Super Bowl as long as Jerry Jones is still running the team. That is a fact.
So do you mean running the team or owning the team?
Well, it's probably we're going to have to get rid of him as an owner because he cannot keep his mouth shut.
Well, if somebody could actually keep him in line and he wasn't feeling he's the general manager and making the picks and things of that sort and calling the calls, yeah.
Can you keep Trump in line? No, you can't keep Jerry in line. So they're all the same or whatever.
You're just basically saying all the billionaires in the United States are all the same, no matter what field of work they have.
Well, no, it depends. It's like sometimes people do really great jobs or great work. Jerry Jones is not doing a good job. He's not the general manager. He doesn't bring in good talent. People around him, sometimes he has. It's like Jimmy Johnson, when he brought in all the talent in the heydays, and then he gets rid of them because Jerry.
Yeah, but Jimmy was there before Jerry, though, right?
Nope, they were there together.
Okay.
Because as soon as Jerry Jones officially bought the team, that day he fired Tom Landry and hired Jimmy Johnson as the coach.
I remember when he was hired. I just didn't realize it was Jerry Jones.
But I mean, everybody keeps saying it's like, oh, we need another quarterback, and when Dak being the quarterback right now, Dak's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. I mean, coaches. Everybody says, oh, we need a new coach or whatever. It's not going to make a difference as long as Jerry Jones is there. I mean, I'm tired. I get tired of it. I mean, you get your hopes up, but then it's like, oh, no, he's going to do it. And then when they lose, then he's like, he makes excuses.
It's deja vu every year.
Well, I know.
Every year. Oh, we have a possibility of getting playoffs. We get we just screwed that up.
I mean, talking about only winning 5 playoff games in the last over 20 years or whatever.
Yeah, well.
That's ridiculous.
I'm still kind of stuck on why you think it's America's team.
Well, because they are. I mean, it was.
I think if you ask the other 49 states, they'd probably say no.
Everybody knows who the Dallas Cowboys are.
Oh, no, they do. I mean, but I'm pretty sure they also know who Kansas City is now, too.
And it's like you either love the Cowboys or you hate the Cowboys. And so
because I live in Dallas, I won't say what it is.
Anytime you look at any of the ratings on TV, whenever the Dallas Cowboys are playing, ratings are always high because whoever the Cowboys are playing, the other team wants to beat them really bad or whatever.
Yeah. Also because the actual commercial rights, air rights and all that, there's a ton of dollars associated with that. Let's be honest, it's a business. It's a billion-dollar business. I mean, and I get it. I mean, that's why we're spending so much on the Super Bowl day in of itself. NFL is just absolutely, they have a great business model. There's no doubt.
Yes.
I mean, if I could be an owner and sit back and just, watch the games, I'd be happy too. But obviously, Jerry Jones doesn't like to do that.
I know. But we're stuck with Jerry. And as long as we got Jerry, then I don't count on winning Super Bowls here.
Oh, well, there you go. I don't know what to say about that. Simply I'm just not a fan of him or Dallas Cowboys. So, well, folks, we hope you've enjoyed today. We're actually getting down to a little bit area where we typically do it, 20 to 30 minutes of our podcasts. Our first opening was about 40 minutes, which is kind of long. There's only so much that I can sit here and look and talk to Michael. So, I mean, we're going to keep it down a little bit less.
I beg your pardon.
But we do appreciate y'all listening to us, listening to Buddies, Booze, and Banter's Unfiltered Conversations. I am Rick, your co-host.
And I'm Michael.
And we also have Alex, our producer.
Thank you.
Thanks again. We hope to hear from you again.
Bye.